Hello everybody, Watson Wolf, here to present to you a story about the Dr. Emmett W. Bassett. He was a man who embodies our school values, Dr. Emmett W. Bassett's life was a journey of courage, intellect, and activism. Born and raised in Henry County, Virginia, he grew up in the segregated South, where opportunities for black men were limited, but his determination was boundless. Before he was a scientist, a professor, and a civil rights activist, he was just a boy with a curiosity for science, math, and the natural world.
When I was a boy growing up in Henry County, Virginia, the world felt like one big mystery waiting to be solved. While other kids ran and played, I was the one with dirt on my hands, digging in the soil to see what was underneath. I watched the way leaves changed color in the fall, the way ants marched in perfect lines, the way milk turned to butter in my mother's kitchen. I wanted to know why things worked the way they did. Books became my greatest treasure. I read everything I could get my hands on, flipping through pages by candlelight, trying to understand the secrets of nature. How do cows turn grass into milk? What makes the stars shine at night? The more I learned, the more questions I had. That curiosity took me far beyond the fields of Henry County. It led me to the Tuskegee Institute, where I had the honor of assisting George Washington Carver himself. Imagine that. A boy who once studied insects in the dirt, now working alongside one of the greatest scientific minds of our time. He showed me that science wasn't just about answers. It was about discovery, about using knowledge to make the world better. Growing up in the segregated South, I was taught that I was less than because of the color of my skin, but I refused to accept it. I knew that change would only come if we stood up and demanded it. Peaceful protests was our weapon. Marching for justice and raising our voices in solidarity with the families who suffered was the beginning of making changes. Then came the March on Washington. I walked alongside thousands, black and white, young and old, each step a declaration that we would not be ignored. We heard Dr. King's voice ring out over the crowd, his dream filling the air like a promise. And in that moment, I believed change was possible. Martin Luther King Jr. was a leader in the civil rights movement, advocating for racial equality through nonviolent protest. He organized key events like the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington, delivering his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. King's efforts were instrumental in the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, making him a pivotal figure in the fight for racial justice in America. But even after the speeches ended and the crowds went home, the struggle continued. Loving Priscilla, my wife, my partner, meant facing a different kind of battle. As an interracial couple, we weren't just fighting for civil rights. We were fighting for the right to be together, to exist without fear, to love without punishment. And still, we stood strong. I'll never forget the day I got the draft notice. I was just a young man, full of dreams, thinking my path was set. But then I was called to serve my country in World War II. At first, I didn't understand why I had to fight. I was just trying to build a life, trying to make sense of a world that often treated me as less. But once I was there, in the thick of it, I learned something that changed me forever. I learned that courage isn't just about fighting. It's about standing for something bigger than yourself. It's about fighting for freedom, not just for me, but for everyone. And I learned that we're all equal under the flag, no matter where we come from or what we look like. When I became a professor at Columbia University, I knew my work wasn't just about science. It was about shaping the future. Teaching young minds meant passing on knowledge, but also responsibility. The next generation holds the power to change this country, to push boundaries, to break barriers. My job wasn't just to teach. It was to inspire, to challenge, to prepare them for the world ahead. Because the future of our nation depends on those willing to learn, to lead, and to make a difference. The work isn't finished. The fight for justice didn't end in the streets of Selma or the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. It lives on in every protest, every vote, every voice that refuses to be silenced. Because justice isn't given, it's demanded. And if I've learned anything in my lifetime, it's that change comes to those who refuse to stop marching. Even now, I still see the world the way I did as a child, full of questions, full of wonder. And I hope that somewhere, right now, there's another young boy or girl looking up at the stars asking why. Because that's where the next great discovery begins.